Hi everybody, this is Pam again. Today is day 4 of the 14-day challenge, and today my challenge is to do a Facebook Live video on something that I absolutely know nothing about. So that was easy because I know nothing about fixing my car. But I am going to share. My husband's going to help me out with this because he is an auto mechanic. So I have an in there. But I have learned to listen to my car and tell him whenever anything is making a noise. But so I was hoping maybe this, especially I started researching the topic, seeing what I could do to help, women maybe know a little bit about their cars so that they know when to get them checked or just know a little bit about routine maintenance. So I found a really awesome 21 point just maintenance guide that if when we're done with this, if anybody would like to, go ahead and just hit me up in Messenger, give me your email, or I can send out a message. I'd be happy to get that for you. But we're gonna in my research, it was awesome. I found there is actually in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, there is a auto repair shop, and it's called Girls Auto Clinic, and it is all women technicians, all women that will service the vehicles, and they even have what they call the Clutch Beauty Bar, where you could actually get a manicure and a pedicure while you're waiting for your car to get work done. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know that we have anything around here, but if you live out in Pennsylvania, that would be pretty awesome. So I'm going to turn the camera over and we're going to share. James is going to just go over a couple of things, but like I said, for those of you who want, I've got the full blog post with the 20 ways to make sure you're taking care of your car, and we'll go over a couple of them in the next couple of minutes. Here we go. There's James and my car. So one of the things that we're going to look at is, I think one of the big things that as a woman I worry about is I did have an engine go bad and my oil was low. So I think that's a really important one because that was really expensive. So James, how often should you change? So should you check your oil, and how often should you get an oil change?
Typically, you should check your oil every other time you put gas in your car is a good average. On your oil change, I prefer being a mechanic and stuff. There's all kinds of different scenarios out there, but I prefer the 3,000 mile oil change. There's some cars that goes 5,000, some goes 7,000, but that's usually the car is wore out then, and you got to buy a new car. So oil's cheap, so it's 3,000 miles is the best alternative.
So what are some of the things, and this was one of the things that I didn't realize, what can happen if you run your car out of oil? What happens?
What happens, it quits running. Timing chains break, they start knocking, they won't run too long if you run it out of oil.
And so is there anything they do to fix that, or is that we got to replace the engine? What happens then?
Normally you replace the engine when you run it out of oil.
Okay.
Or buy a new car.
Well, that's not a good answer. So talk about tires. How do people know? I know I'm getting new tires, so maybe we can take a peek. How do people know when it's time to get the new tires, or how often they need to get their tires rotated?
Well, that's another typical thing. I recommend to my customers at my shop and stuff, that they get tires on the car and stuff every other oil change. So that's every 6,000 miles that they rotate their tires. They last a lot longer. It all depends on the driving habits. Where we live, there's a lot of hills and curves and stuff. The tires are wearing a lot faster. We have a lot of gravel roads too. That makes them wear faster. So the more often you change them, every 6,000 is pretty common. They last longer.
Okay, so how do you know when you're needing them? Is there techniques or methods to look at your tires so that you know when you need to get new tires?
Yes, there is. There's all different kinds of ways. I don't have a penny on me right now, but one way is a penny.
What do you mean a penny? Show us what you...
You take a penny or probably a nickel or something like that, and but you come over at your tire. If you can see on the video, you stick this is George Washington. You see how far down his head is in the tread. These are getting wore down. They're pretty thin. Then you go in the center, they're real thin. You can see almost the top of his head. We know she needs new tires. and we're waiting till hopefully she can get to winter time and put some new ones on for the winter. There's also, I don't know if you can see it on these, there, if you get really down there, there's actually wear bars in the center of the tires. Every so often you'll see a bar. There's one right in this area here. There's a wear bar across the tire. When you get down to that, then you're getting really bad and severe worn out tire.
Awesome. Anything else? Any other general tips? I know we're not going to go through all 20. Like I said, I'd be happy to get them the links so that everybody can get that. I think it's 21 things to talk about when just routine maintenance. There's even a couple apps out there that'll help you remind you about what you need to do to take care of your car, and those are included in those tips. So again, I'd be happy to get anybody those. Just shoot me a message or make a comment where I can get those to them. I'd be happy to do that. So any last things you want to say in general about taking care of your car?
Well, typically you want to keep an eye on all your gauges. Most of your cars nowadays are all computer controlled, tire pressure, all that stuff. That'll all pop up on your dash of the car. You'll have a low tire sensor or a check engine light when they come on. Them are all warning devices to tell you to have your car looked at. There's something going on in the computer.
So we have a lot of the lights come on the dashboard a lot. I mean, is there anything that would indicate it's a more serious problem than not, like something you need to, like, right away get something taken care of?
Pretty much when your check engine light comes on, it's a warning. You should take it in and have it looked at. When it starts blinking and it's a continuous blink, it's a serious problem, and you need to get it in right away. But if it just comes on and it goes off, comes back on, which they do sometimes, it's not a real serious problem. But when they start blinking, take it into your service station.
All right, so last thing we're going to do, why don't you pop the hood and just show us where, those of us that don't do it, where you would even look for the dipstick to change the oil.
Well, first of all is finding where you open the hood. Most of them on the driver's side, near the emergency brake pedal, or underneath the steering wheel. And there's a little lever that you pull. There's also a safety latch. You gotta usually find it and open the hood. Now I don't know if she can get over here for enough to see down in the engine compartment. You can look down in there. There's a lot of your dipsticks, which you call for checking the oil and the transmission. They're color coded usually. They're usually yellow colored. This is the oil one here. It's kind of dirty. You pull it out, look at the stick. I'll get something to wipe it off with.
I know I get a little spoiled having a mechanic, but I just worry about people that don't. All right.
You wipe it off with the engine shut off. You want to do this. Pull it out, wipe it off, stick it back in, pull it back out, and you look at your stick. As you can see on here, the oil level is in the hatch marks. You can see the oil, shiny part of it. As long as you're in the hatch marks, your oil's okay. And you want to kind of look at it. She's getting about due for an oil change. You can see it's dark. Well, which she's real close to doing it. That's how you check the oil. A lot of cars, this particular car does not have a transmission dipstick. They're going to that. A lot of cars are nowadays, and you gotta usually take it into a service station.
What about the coolant? Where would someone check the coolant?
Coolant levels usually, radiators are usually in the front of the engine. Some are right on the radiator. This one happens to have a reservoir here. This container, it says coolant level on it, right on the top of it. This shows you a little radiator too.
Okay.
And you want to check it when the engine's usually cool or half warmed up. These are usually tight. You don't want to check it when it's hot because this will blow right off and you can get burned. It's very critical that you have the engine shut off and cooled a little bit. Screw this all off. And you can look down in there and see the coolant. I don't know if you can see it on this one. It's kind of dark. A lot of these containers are clear. You can see down in here. This one's kind of clear. It's got a fill line here down in this area. Mm-hmm. It's a little low, which is not typically. That's a normal where it goes. There's also, you have your windshield washer with a little, looks like a windshield with a sprayer on it. That's where you fill your windshield washer fluid for your windshield washers. Back here is your brake fluid. Sorry about the dirty engine, she don't keep it clean. This is a brake fluid level. It says .3. That's the kind of fluid that goes in it. And this is usually clear too. You can usually see the fluid level or look down in it. And this one's full. This is where the oil goes. If you have to put oil in the car, this particular engine, they recommend Dexos, which is a synthetic blend oil. It's per se for this engine because they have, they need it, the synthetics for the timing chains and stuff like that, which was used at 5W30 oil. Next is the air cleaner area, but this gets into, if you're mechanically minded or whatever. If you're not, yeah, you usually got to take it into a shop or something. They have some screws here that you unscrew. There's on this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And this pops off and the air filter is under there. And that should be checked, periodically. Usually, like every other oil change is a good time to check them. I check them at my shop pretty much every oil change, take them and look at them and clean them out because we're on the dusty roads and stuff. The dustier the roads, the more often you want to check it.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much the easiest.
All right. Well, I want to thank you very much, and we're going to go ahead and wrap that up. And
if you have any other questions, you can ask her. And she ask me.
well, thanks, everybody. We're going to wrap this up. Just want to say, with the routine maintenance of your vehicle, it improves your safety by taking care of your vehicle. A lot of people didn't realize, and I didn't realize this, is that a well-maintained vehicle that keeps up with the routine maintenance, that actually increases the resale value of the vehicle. It enhances your performance, and also you get better gas mileage, and it's also cleaner for the environment. One thing we didn't mention, that one of the things, if you notice that you're starting to get lower gas mileage, a lot of times you might want to just check the pressure of your tires, because sometimes if your tires are getting low, that's going to impact your gas mileage. So hope this helps everybody, or at least somebody. That's my goal, that I at least can help someone out there with this information. And again, if you want the full blog post on all of that, just let me know. I'll shoot that to you. Just send me an instant message. Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 5.